Michelle, what else do you recommend to build and strengthen the connective tissue that lies between people?
So, one of my favorite podcast interviews was with Bart Foster, and he moved to Boulder and started a company called Business Outside. And I was able to participate in one of his retreats. He does the majority of his retreats are for either executive teams or YPO teams. And he had been a founder of a startup, and then one of those horrible stories, then they said, but we don't want you to run the company. And it was so deflating. He thought, what in the world? And he's like, okay, I'm going to start a different type of company. And he does everything outside because he believes that walking shoulder to shoulder, he believes that motion creates emotion. And his mantra is get us out of these windowless conference rooms, get us doing things differently. So another idea for meetings besides the connection question is think about getting outside. So I just went up to Baton Rouge, which is a little bit north of us in New Orleans, still along the Mississippi River. And I conducted a connection retreat for physicians. And I had no idea what pushback that they were feeling until after the end of the day. They're like, oh my God, we were going into this just not looking forward to it at all, Michelle, because you were making us do a connection walk along the Mississippi River. What? And then they admitted that was really powerful. You got to get people out of their comfort zone in order to build that connective tissue, rethink meetings. And so we did just a 1 hour walk, leisurely walk, not even exercise. And every 10 to 15 minutes, we'd pair up with different people, shoulder to shoulder. And we would ask questions like you ask what does success look like to you? By the end of the year, what's most challenging to you right now? Like, what are you struggling with? How can I help? What's one thing that I can do as your teammate to help? And then like you do with the win, these are so easy, yet so many people just don't take the time to ask these questions or to embed it into your meeting rhythm or to get them out of a windowless conference room. So I think the key, besides asking a connection question, is to rethink how you're meeting. I'll give you another example. Another CEO that of a healthcare system that I work with, he said he wanted permission. He goes, Michelle, he goes, I am tired of those Friday meetings where my team shows up in their best suit with their best PowerPoint slides, and it's almost like they are defending why they're in their jobs in this windowless conference room. He said, can I just ask them every Friday morning to come to my office and have coffee for 45 minutes and we could just sit around and talk about what can I do to help you? I said, brilliant, yes. So just rethink your meetings. No one wants to be talked at anymore. Even when I was at Thinkers 50, Brendan, what jumped out at me was some of the best thinkers in the world are still talking at people with PowerPoint slides. Guess what? It's not effective anymore.
I love this. So what I'm hearing is there's a hierarchy here of meetings, ideally in person and ideally out in nature, ideally walking shoulder to shoulder. And again, first-hand experience of this, I had the privilege of, during the summer, climbing the highest mountains in every county in Ireland as part of a charity walk that we did over 9 days. And I would say, without question, it was the best experience that I've ever had in my life, and I've had some incredible experiences. You got to know people whenever you're climbing with them for 10 hours a day and walking side by side. You got to know people deeply in a very, very short period of time. This was across 9 days. I mean, we've created a connection amongst that. There's 20 CEOs across Ireland. We've created a connection that I feel will last until the end of our days here. You know, it was so powerful, and that's out in nature, walking side by side, doing a challenge that we were all united by. It was very purposeful. So these connection walks in nature, in person, obviously, very powerful. Next, if you can't do that, what I'm hearing, pick up the telephone, and for me, I often find I use the opportunity to go and walk the dog and speak with somebody whilst I'm walking. And if you cannot do that, then it's kind of last resort is jump on a Teams call. And so yeah, that very, very powerful, very practical. Michelle,